Welcome back. In this lesson we're actually going to go through and solve inequalities by using addition and subtraction. And so we're going to find the values of the inequality that make it true. So let me get this to scroll down here a little bit. Your properties of inequalities that you're going to be using, you can add or subtract any number to an inequality. Remember, an inequality has a greater than or a less than or greater than or equal to or less than or equal to sign. So you can see some examples here where if we add a number to both sides of the inequality, it doesn't change the value, or we can subtract from both sides, just like solving equations. So here are some examples. If we want to solve this inequality, just like we would in an equation, we would add 8 to both sides. And when we do that, we get n is less than 23. And then we can go ahead and check our solution. Here's our original inequality. When we plug in 23 minus 8, there's a typo there. Okay, that should be, oh, I'm sorry, it says n is less than 23, so we're going to plug in something less than 23. 22 is less than 23, and that actually works. It shows that it is a valid solution. Over on the right-hand side, we want to get a by itself, so we're going to subtract 7 from both sides. And we end up with a is, the way we would read this, a is less than or equal to negative 11. So that's how you would read it either way. Negative 11 is greater than or equal to a less than or equal to negative 11. Be very careful when you're switching the order of these that you keep the arrow pointing in the same direction. In other words, notice that the pointed end is toward the variable and the open end is toward the number. So be very, very careful when you switch those. Here are a couple for you to try. Go ahead and pause your video and work on these. I'll show you the answers when you come back. Alright, hope you had some success at those. Let's go ahead and take a look. Letter A, t plus 3 is greater than 12. So we want to go ahead and solve that for t. So I would subtract 3 from both sides, just like we would with our equations, but we have inequalities. I still have a greater than sign. 12 minus 3 is 9, and my 3's drop out right there, and I get t is greater than 9. In the middle, I'm going to subtract 1/2 from both sides of my inequality. So minus 1/2 on both sides. So I have n on the left, my 1/2 drops, a plus 1/2 and a minus 1/2. Your inequality stays the same. 4 minus 1/2 is 3.5. So n is greater than or equal to 3.5. On the right hand side, I want to add 1.5. We're doing the opposite. Remember, we're trying to get the variable by itself. So on both sides, I'm going to add 1.5. When I do that, my 1.5's on the left drop out, and I get y is less than 3.5. Here's a word problem for you. It says the Airbus A380 can seat up to 853 passengers. Suppose there are currently 632 passengers boarded on the airplane. Which inequality indicates how many more people are able to board? So we want to know how many more people. We've already got 632. So our equation says let P equal the number of passengers left to board. So we want 632 plus however more are left to board. That has to be less than or equal to 853. Okay, so if we were to go ahead and solve that for P, okay, we would need to subtract 632 from both sides, and we would end up with 221. I thought this had the solution in it, but let me go ahead and walk through that. Minus 632 and minus 632 on both sides, so these two would cancel, and I would be left with P has to be less than or equal to, and then over here we would get 221, right? So letter C is the correct answer. A tornado is classified using the Fujita Tornado Damage Scale, the F scale. An F1 tornado has wind speeds that are at least 73 miles per hour, and F2 has wind speeds that are at least 113 miles per hour. Which inequality indicates how much the winds of an F1 tornado need to increase so it becomes at least an F2 tornado? And I'm going to have you work on that one and bring your answer to class. See you next time. Whoops.